So you've learnt about blending. Now we're going to look at advanced blending using layer masks. So first thing I want to think about is maybe something I want to have on my digital graphic that requires more complicated blending than just changing what we were looking at earlier over here. So I am going to imagine that on the back page here of my booklet, I'm going to have a patch of grass where I might want to write something, but I want to blend it with a daisy. So the first thing I'm going to do is go and get my grass. So I've typed in field into Pixabay, and I think I'll use that one. It's nice and green. I'm just going to right click, copy the image, put that into Photoshop, paste by pressing Ctrl and V, and that gets it onto a brand new layer over here. So I'm just going to name it so I don't forget what it is. Grass. I'm going to move it. I can transform it, of course. Ctrl T is transform, remember. Stretch it out a bit. There we go. Ctrl and T. When I'm happy, I can just press enter. And now I'm going to put a daisy on here, but blend it with the grass and desaturate it. So I have already got some pictures of daisies, so I'm going to go File and Place Embedded and go and choose a daisy image that I've chosen earlier to use. I think I'll just use that one and press Place, and it should put that in as a new layer. So I'm going to change it up here to say daisy back page. There we go. And again, I'm going to move that to where I want it. Of course, I can always do Ctrl T and make that a bit larger if I want to. And press enter when I'm happy. And if I want to zoom in to see what I'm doing a bit more, remember I can press Ctrl and plus. And that zooms in, and Ctrl and minus. That zooms out. Let's go a bit closer so I can see what I'm doing. So, as we know before when we've used the selection tools, this just looks awful. So basically the first thing we've got to do is cut out the daisy, but put it as an inverted layer mask, which is why we're not doing it on a separate document. So I am going to use my magic wand tool. Here we are. And I'm going to select the area around the daisy. So if I click once on the background area, there we go, it selects it. If I press again, it selects some more. But if I click somewhere else, it comes off it. So what I need to do is click once, hold down the Shift key, and keep pressing all the areas until all the background basically goes. And you can see here, it's quite delicate work. Let's look at what you're doing carefully to make sure you've got everything. I'm doing a bit of a quick job, so that will do. So I've got everything selected. Don't deselect it yet. We need to now create a layer mask. So whilst that's selected, we're going to create a layer mask. So over here, obviously you're still on this layer, you need to choose this button here, which is Add Layer Mask. I'm going to press it once, and you'll see it looks like it's cut it out and it's put it on top. We're actually going to invert that. So we're going to press Control on the keyboard and I. Control and I. And it looks like it hasn't done anything. But you can see here, it's still got it in the layer mask here, and the original image is here. So it all will become clear in a minute when we do the next few steps. So next we need to duplicate the layer, but it's not as simple as right-clicking and duplicating, and you'll see why in a minute. So first thing you need to do in this layer panel here, you've got to make sure you're clicked on the original daisy image here, not this one, and we know which one we're on because it's got those white marks around it. So we're going to click on this one, okay, and then we're going to use the selection tool, the quick selection tool, to select the daisy. Now this bit is a bit tricky. It depends on your image, of course, depending on what your pixels like. This is a bit trickier for mine. If you do make a mistake, you can simply deselect. So say, for example, I'm going to purposely make a mistake. If I go out of here and accidentally do that, to get out of that, I just press Control on the keyboard and D, and that deselects, and then I can just start again. Okay, so I'm using my quick selection tool to select my daisy. And don't worry if you miss a bit, because you can rub it out in a minute, and I will explain that in a minute. So I'm going to do that. There we go. I'm happy with that. That will do for me with what I need for this tutorial. So I'm going to leave it like that. So I've selected my original daisy. Now I'm just going to activate the layer mask here by clicking on it once. There we go. Notice it's still selected. Okay. And I'm going to make sure down in the bottom left here with my colours that the black is in the foreground. That's that one there. And the white is in the background. Now if they're the other way round, I can simply press this little arrow here and it changes them, if you see that. Or there's a shortcut on the keyboard. I can just press the X key and that again toggles my colours. So it goes between the two. I'm going to keep it on black on the foreground. Right, next what I'm going to do is press on the keyboard Alt, A-L-T. You might need the space bar if you can't find it. And I'm going to use the backspace button on the keyboard as well. So I'm holding down Alt and pressing backspace. And basically what that does is delete that section from the layer mask. Now what I'm going to do is go back onto here. And I'm going to press Control and J, which duplicates a layer. I know duplicate starts with a D, but the shortcut is a Control and J. There we go. And you can see here, it's basically duplicated the daisy. So that's the second part. Next, we're going to tidy up what we've done so far. So we're going to make this layer here invisible. That's the top one we've just duplicated. I'm going to make it invisible by pressing the I. There we go. So it's still there. And next what I want to do is select my layer mask here. And I want to use the brush tool to basically rub out any outlines that shouldn't be there to make it look tidier. So here's my brush tool. Okay, so I'm basically using the brush like an eraser. I'm going to press Control and plus just to zoom in. There we go. Obviously making sure I'm on my layer mask here now. And when I go over here, what I should find is that when I click and hold like that, it rubs it out. Now, obviously yours will probably be neater than mine because you've got more time to do it. There we go. If I want to, I can change the size of this up here so it makes it a bit easier for me. There we go. Depends how fine I want to do it. That just gets rid of anything that I don't want for my daisy head. There we go. I'm going to zoom out again now, and that gets rid of any untidy bits. So now I'm going to make layer 1 visible again. There we go. And I'm going to give it a new name. So I'm going to call it Daisy Back Page. Finished or final. And then whilst I've got that selected still, I'm going to desaturate it. That basically means I'm making the colours more muted. So to do that, I'm going to hold down the Control button, then I'm going to hold down Shift while still holding Control, and then I'm going to press the U button. And you'll see there straight away, it desaturates the colour. It makes the colours muted, basically. And then whilst I'm on this layer still, I'm going to go up to my blending options, and now I'm going to choose Overlay. And look what happens. I've got basically a grass coloured daisy, which is quite a nice effect really. And if I want to, I can now move this daisy around. So I could take that out of the grass if I wanted to as well. It depends what I want to use it for and how I want the effect to look. I could then right click and duplicate that layer. Okay, and then I've got another one. And I can make multiples of those depending on the effect that I want. So if I wanted to pile them up on top of each other, I could do that. It depends what I'm after. So I could do that. I could even take the grass away if I wanted to afterwards by deleting the original layer. But that's basically how I work with advanced blending using layer masks.